Okay, now we are starting to take students. Hoş geldiniz hepiniz. Hoş geldiniz. So we are waiting for a few minutes and later we can start. Hoş geldiniz tekrardan arkadaşlar. Ben Eğitim İrlanda'dan Ayşegül. Michael, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit then in Turkish. Then you can go on. Evet arkadaşlar, ben Ayşegül. Hoş geldiniz Eğitim İrlanda'dan. Bugün NCI'dan, National College of Ireland'dan Micheal Galvin bizimle olacak. Kendisi bölge temsilcisi. Zaten kendisini de tanıtacak. Sunum boyunca sorularınızı chatten de sorabilirsiniz. Hani hani anlattığı şeyle alakalıysa veya en son gelen soru cevap bölümü zaten yapılacak. Sözlü de bizzat hani kameranıza, mikrofonunuza da sorabilirsiniz. Onun dışında şu an kayıt ediliyor bu webinar. Daha sonra YouTube'da da paylaşmayı planlıyoruz. O da bilginiz olsun. So Michael, you can introduce yourself and later go on. You are the co-host now also. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Merhaba. I don't have that much Turkish, even though I spent 10 days in Turkey. I know the words for ekmek and a few other basic staples. So make sure I wouldn't starve. That's good. Micheal Galvin. I'm I'm regional manager at the international office in National College of Ireland for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and I cover Turkey as well. I'll try and speak slowly. If I'm speaking too fast, tell me.
Okay, no problem.
So I'm just going to hopefully just share a small brief presentation about Ireland, a bit about Dublin, a bit about maybe why international students come and choose Ireland as a destination, and I'll tell you a bit about our programs and our scholarships and fees and life in Ireland as a student. And I'll try and be brief and have some Q&A at the end, and I'll try and answer everyone's questions as best I can. So I'll just share my screen quickly.
You can share it, right? No problem.
Yep.
Okay.
So hopefully everyone can see that. I'm just going to jump in and hopefully there's some videos in this as well. So hopefully you can watch some videos rather than listening to me.
This This is Ireland, a small island on the tip of Europe, a land of 1,000 welcomes. A nation whose people have had a profound effect around the world, who have travelled from east to west, north to south, dreaming of a better world, making the world a better place, bringing the world together through living. But that was then, and this now, this is modern Ireland. Placing itself at the centre of the world. A strategic gateway from Asia to Europe and beyond. A country so vibrant, so full of life, with endless possibilities, where life is for living, where many of the brightest ideas are imagined, and where the dreams, your dreams, can be realized.
Small intro video there, just to give you a brief insight where Ireland is. I suppose you probably all know where Ireland is. It's about 4 hours flight from Turkey. Turkish Airlines flies in, as does about 60 other airlines. We like to see ourselves as a small island in the middle of the world. So Dublin, we're based in Dublin, the capital. Government sit there. Most of the business headquarters are based in Dublin. There's only about 1 million. Population is about 1 million. Population of Ireland in total is 5 million. Dublin has, the capital city, is about 1 million people. The airport is quite close to the city centre, and it's quite easy and accessible to access the airport from the city centre. It's a lot of buses and transfers in. Like I said, there's about 5 million people there. Close, good infrastructure, good transport links. We use the euro. Euro to lira when I was there was about 15 lira to euro, I think. We do speak English. There is an old Irish language which we've learned in school, but nobody really speaks it on a day-to-day basis. We're quite a welcoming, friendly country. As I said, it's small. Some people think of Ireland as green fields and sheep and stuff, but there's a lot more to Ireland. We are a cultural country, our own music, our own dance, our own sports. But we have a lot of international people living in Dublin and Ireland as well. We have a lot to offer those that do come and visit. So just give people a snapshot of typical prices. If you're coming to Ireland as a student, it will seem more expensive than it is in Turkey for living expenses. There's a reason for that. It's because a lot of big companies based here, a lot of jobs. We basically have full employment. There's basically no unemployment, very little unemployment in Ireland. And because it's a smaller country, it's been a squeeze on maybe inflation and prices for people living there. But it's not more expensive than certain parts of UK or America to live. If you're a student coming in, there is options for student accommodation, whether you're on campus, you want student residence close to campus, or you want to be living off campus. You live in shared rooms, twin rooms, single rooms, double rooms. And we do send out accommodation booklets with our offer letters, and there's more information on our website as well. Typically, students might, if they're in a student residence, have their own room or shared room, and then share a common area with 5 or 6 others, depending on the size of the accommodation.
Dublin is a really dynamic place to further your education. NCI is an amazing college.
Student numbers tend to hover around about 5,000.
It's got the business focus, it's got the technology focus.
Their classes generally are relatively small.
We are leaders in bringing the cutting-edge technology programs in Ireland. It's not just academic that we'll just come and teach something. We'll also take into consideration where are you coming from. And we have very strong undergraduate programs and postgraduate programs.
A lot of what we do is about developing future leaders, student leaders, community leaders. So allowing people actually to go back to their own communities, families, countries, industries, companies, and make actually a solid and positive contribution.
So we try to prepare our students for real work situations. So we try to work with the student to develop their potential and then try to match that to what employers are looking for. We have numerous support mechanisms for students. We have academic writing support, we have math support, we have accountancy support, and again there's pastoral care that's provided by all of the programme team.
Our support services kick in from the time they make their application right the way through to arrival and through to graduation. We'll arrange for a driver to meet them at the airport and bring them to their accommodation in the city centre. We then also do a short Dublin city tour, so we show them some of the key sites that they need to be familiar with, and also where the GNIB office, so where they'll go to get their student visa.
Our campus is right in the heart of Dublin City.
It's a very peaceful country, it's a very safe place to live. It's relatively small, so it's easy to get around and to meet people and to get settled in your new life.
We have on-campus accommodation, so it's a peace of mind factor for parents looking at where are their children going to come and stay.
There is just so much going on here. This is a fantastic place to come, to live and to learn.
We would provide you with an education that would make you successful in your career.
You can identify very quickly those students who have spent time overseas. They bring a maturity to their learning, they bring an attractiveness to them as individuals for employers, will work exceptionally hard to make sure that you optimize and maximize that investment by you and by your family or by your company and you as an individual in your career.
Guys, just do it. Pack your bags and come. It will change your life. So just come over to Ireland and we'll be here to welcome you when you arrive.
That's just a quick snapshot of NCI. And just, you know, like when you come to study in Ireland, I suppose just people want to know what the structure is like. You know, you have between 15 to 20 contact hours, which would mean you'd be in tutorials or lectures or in labs directly with faculty during that time. You would also, you know, if you're doing a master's program, you'd be expected to do more hours, maybe research project work, you might have more assignments. If you're looking at master's, like, it is a step up from your degree. There's way more assignments, way more projects, it's a 1 year focused program. 1 year of your life to maybe add something to your CV and your academic profile to give you that chance of getting a better paid job when you start working. The courses, they are designed with industry. So in Ireland, as in NCI, we have to go under like review every 5 years, and we do that with industry and other academics, leading academics, to ensure that the programs are fit for your future needs, to make sure that you, when you do graduate, that, you know, your skills are relevant to the workplace. And like they mentioned in the video there, we produce work-ready graduates. We try and make sure that you're not only applying for any job, you're applying for the job that you want, your dream job, or the job you've planned to get from the outset, or the job you wanted when you were in school, or the company you want to work with. So it's a lot of big companies there, so we do our best to ensure that our programs are fit for purpose, or fit for you, to ensure that you will have the experience and you know, you'll be able to reach your future goals. So we do have small class sizes. You're not sitting in gigantic lecture halls. You do have small dedicated class sizes. You get to know everyone in your class, which is great, or most people. Good library, good resources. During COVID, everything went online. All our library books and everything went online as well. They did have big online resources anyway. And Moodle is the system that you find they use to share notes and share projects and submit assignments on Moodle back to your faculty. So there is good support. To talk about academic supports, if you need supports, they're there. NCI, since our inception in 1951, we were established back then. We've always tried to have extra support there for students in all sides, from learning and development, to personal supports, etc. So you'll have some lectures, seminars, tutorials, workshops. It's not all end of year exam. There's a lot of continuous assessments. So you might have projects which are credit bearing, which will go towards your final end of year grading. You might have some essays, presentations. You might be on your own doing them, or you might be in a group. And then if you're doing some masters, you either have a dissertation or project. And some of the programs have internships built into them, or you might be doing company projects where you're working on an innovative project with a company. So it depends on the course you're doing and the setup that exists. And just to, I suppose, our undergraduate degree programs, main ones are in accounting and finance, business, HR, marketing, and psychology. And we have another one in education, early childhood education. And then computer science and data science are 4 years, and they've got a 6-month internship in the 3rd year. And for masters, a lot of you are probably looking at master's programs. They're all 1 year. So if you're starting in September, everything's 1 year. If you're starting in January, the business ones extend it a bit longer due to the starting point, but otherwise the computing ones are spread over all 1 year. And most times you would have 2 taught semesters. So you have September to December, you'll have exams in January, then you'll have February to May, and then from May to August, you will do your dissertation, and you'll have your final result, and you'll graduate in November. That's the usual structure to a master's program. We do have a pathway program for students who wish to convert their skills from a non-computing degree into the computing area. It's a 1-year higher diploma in software development. And this gives students the opportunities to go then work in the Irish economy, or if they wish to continue studying, they can continue into a master's level program.
When someone comes to you for employment or progression, that they have an international qualification, whether we like it or not, actually is a very positive thing to have on your curriculum vitae.
Irish graduates are high in demand on a global basis.
We have had a very strong tradition of attracting international companies into Dublin. So within a stone's throw of National College of Ireland, you have big brand international companies like Morgan Stanley, like Google, like Facebook, like LinkedIn, like Twitter. They are all around us. Technology companies, big business companies, international banking companies. And to support that, you also have the big professional service companies like PwC and A&L Goodbodies and KPMG and so on, Deloitte. They're all here in this area.
We maintain the links with industry by inviting them in regularly to meet with us and our students in the form of guest lectures, or also as part of the assessment process.
You can go to business breakfasts, you can come to one of the many employer presentations we have. There's careers fairs, loads of different employer events.
So we'd have at Citibank, AIB and Bank of Ireland would all have done a presentation on campus. EY came in and talked about data analytics opportunities that they had.
The employment ratio is 96% consistently for a number of years.
The likes of Facebook and Google and Intel and PayPal and LinkedIn and all of these fantastic career opportunities that go with these companies.
There's also one-to-one mock interviews available for any student who's has been called for interview.
When I was going to my first interview, I gave her the job description and she gave like a list of questions that the interviewer could ask, and out of 10 questions, around 7 or 8 questions were asked, so yeah.
All master's graduates have a guaranteed stay-back option to work in Ireland for 2 years.
The ability to improve and enhance your language skills, your ability to socialize differently, to engage differently, will all mean that you're a much more attractive proposition for an employer.
But you will also gain tremendous skills and will really help you to present yourself as a potential employee to a major international company in the future.
So that's just a good bit on the career side. Obviously, you're an international student, you're thinking about coming to study in Ireland. You want to know what is, apart from getting a good quality education that is internationally recognized and you can use either in Ireland or abroad and will be recognized globally within companies, you want to know, is there opportunities in Ireland? And yes, there is a lot of opportunities in Ireland. The unemployment rate in Ireland is currently, close to 4 or 5%. Pre-COVID, it was full employment, and it's getting back to that way again. There, as Gina Quinn, our president, said, there's a big attraction to international companies to setting up their base, their European, Middle East, and African headquarters in Ireland, and a lot of high growth companies based there as well. The Irish government have done this very well over the last 30, 35 years to attract in companies. We have a lower corporation tax rate. We have a big pool of talented, skilled workers there. We have excellent universities and colleges with good pool of graduates coming out with work-ready skills. And we've got proximity. So we're in the European Union. We're now the only English-speaking country in the European Union. We've got infrastructure. We're very close proximity to America as well. A lot of big American companies here. There's over 350 high growth companies globally based in Ireland. So you have a lot of different opportunities that come with that to attract in higher skilled, experienced people to Ireland from around the world, attracting in international students who might want to work in those companies and give them the opportunity to stay back and work as well. So yeah, like Forbes, there's been loads of rankings up there. I think Ireland is ranked fourth most educated working population in the world. You will find a lot of people in Ireland have degree, some have masters, some have professional exams. Ireland has a lot of different sectors, and they punch well above their weight in those sectors. The economy is fairly fast growing. Like here, 9 of the top global software companies, as you saw in that video, within close proximity to even our campus, there's a lot of big companies spread out within a 5 or 10 minute walk. And they have their EMEA or Europe, Middle East, and African headquarters based there. Like you saw Google and LinkedIn and Facebook, and there's Zendesk and all these other companies that have popped up. And usually when you get a big company, you have a spatial network of other companies sort of growing around it. Financial services companies like Dublin, I know, is the largest destination for hedge fund administration in the world, followed by Luxembourg and Cayman Islands. So you've got a lot of jobs in that area as well, in human resources, in accounting, in legal. So there's a lot of job opportunities there. I know during COVID, people were making like ventilators, a lot of medical tech companies there in that space as well. And so you've got a lot of growth in there as well. A lot of cloud computing, cybersecurity companies as well, a lot of pharmaceutical companies based here in Ireland too. So I think like 75 of the world's largest pharma companies have some sort of operation in Ireland as well. Cork, down the south of Ireland, has a lot of big, massive pharmaceutical base as well. So some of the big companies, like, we are a small island. People are like, oh, didn't realize that it was all green fields and cheap. But, oh no, Ireland is a knowledge economy. We do export some food and drink out of Ireland, but it's mostly a knowledge economy. It's the likes of Apple and Microsoft and Intel have all had bases here for like over 30 years. And then some of the newer wave of companies like Google and Facebook and TikTok and some of those online companies have set up bases recently. But the likes of Citibank and all those have been in Ireland for quite some time. I used to work in finance myself. I used to work with a company called State Street, a big American bank, investment management sort of company, and they already have about 10,000 employees in Ireland. So that just shows the size of their investment and their interest in Ireland, that they keep on expanding operations because it's easy for them to do business. It's also very entrepreneurial country as well. We make it easy for companies to set up here. We provide support and funding and opportunity, and try and help people grow their companies here as well. It gives them the opportunity to expand. And so you know, that's attracted in some smaller companies as well, which have turned into bigger companies. In NCI, as mentioned there, like careers is mentioned a lot. But we do pride ourselves on giving sort of individual career mentoring and coaching. And they have like jobs fairs on campus every year. So they invite in companies, so you can actually get to meet companies and recruiters and see what types of jobs are available. They'll help you with your CV for the Irish market. Like we had our own NCI, we did a virtual open day last week, and we had an employer panel, and the employers were discussing like CVs, and you know, one of the chaps, Matt Doyle, who works for a cybersecurity company called Tenable, said that recruiters only spend 6 to 9 seconds looking at a CV. So it's very important that you just keep your CV plain and simple, 2 pages, professional profile up the top, and you know, people scan CVs. If you don't put color or graphs or anything crazy into a CV, keep it nice and simple. And you know, that was one of the things that came out. Keep it simple. But you know, they were discussing about diversity and inclusion, and you know, Ireland has changed a lot in the last 30 years, and you know, as all those employers said, they always try and recruit the best person. So they don't go, oh, just recruit Irish people. They recruit people from all over the world, and they bring the best people in from all over the world. And when it comes to the graduate pool, they recruit the graduate pool. Doesn't matter if you're Irish or Turkish or African or wherever, they just try and get the best person. So if you've got the right skill sets, the good CV, and the good interview skills, you get the best jobs that are there. So for when you do finish, there's, you know, you come in, you get your student visa, and it's renewed annually. So you apply for a visa now to go to Ireland to study, and then when you get there, within the first 3 months, apply for a student visa, and that they give it to you for a year, and you get to stay there. If you're coming in just to study on an academic purpose, it's given for a year, and then it's renewed annually. And then when you finish your master's, if you finish the degree, you get a 1-year stay back work visa. If you finish a master's, you have a 2-year stay back work visa. There is opportunity to keep that on. There's critical skills work permits, which can keep that on, and there's other sort of green card visas, which means you can stay on and work. And if you choose to stay and work after graduation for a period of 5 years, you automatically become permanently resident. And if you want, you can apply for citizenship if you want. It's an opportunity. Some people want it. So just break down fees and funding. Just on the visas, you're allowed to work as a student, and a lot of students do. I know I did in college. During term, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week. And if you're taking an undergraduate degree, you're allowed to work up to 40 hours per week during the holidays. The minimum wage in Ireland is currently €10.50 per hour, which is roughly about 150 to 160 lira per hour. And that is the absolute worst you're allowed to be paid. And so most students in Ireland will get about €12 per hour working their part-time job. And, you know, if you're doing a master's, your focus is on your master's. But a lot of students do work maybe a couple of hours of the weekend. Some do the full 20 hours. It's down to you what you can fit in around your academic schedule. But the opportunity is there. And I suppose you know, you could balance up your living expenses while working part-time. So our fees for undergrad are 10, higher diplomas are 12, and masters are 15, but we do have scholarships available. It's bursary. So for undergraduate degrees, there's about 2,000 euros available per year. These are based, you don't have to apply for these are assessed by admissions at point of application. If you're applying for higher diploma, there's 4,000 euros. For masters, there's 2,000 to 4,000 euros based on your academic merit. And for entrepreneurship this year, you heard Professor Jimmy Hill speaking on some of those videos there. I might have mentioned the entrepreneurial spirit. He's coming close to retirement, and his sort of professorship and PhD and sort of a lot of life's research was in the field of entrepreneurship. And so they've offered a 50% entrepreneurship master's scholarship this year for September. So that's would bring the master's fee down to 7,500. We do have another Future Leader Scholarship, but the program closed end of April, and the recipients have already been informed, and that's only for September intake. Usually you would have to apply and submit by sort of usually before end of April each year for the September intake. But they're the other main scholarships that we do have. So I suppose if you haven't applied already, you know, you can apply through İÇİMİZDEKİ Irlanda. Takes about a week maybe for admissions to review your documents and issue an offer letter. And then usual process, you pay your fees, apply for your visa. Visas, academic visas are currently taking about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. And then, you know, book your flights, accommodation options, prepare a budget, and arrive. So we do free airport pickup. So we pick you up from the airport, bring you to whatever accommodation you want to come to. So just to recap, you know, we have industry focused courses. There is Go Career Service. As you can see, our big pool group of companies based around our campus, and we've quite good access. Like, you know, Dublin's a cultural city, walking city, and walk everywhere. If you're staying close by, you can walk to your part-time jobs probably, and you've got access to shopping and clubs and restaurants and stuff close by. And there is guaranteed stay back work visas, and I suppose return on investment is good education. You'll have access to loads of different jobs you can apply for, and they do pay quite well. Like for undergraduate BSc computing or business degree graduates, you're looking at somewhere between 30 to 50,000 euros starting salary. For masters, depending on experience, somewhere you're ranging between somewhere 40 up to 60, 70. It just depends on the company, it depends on the role, depends if you're bringing experience with you, and you have it on your CV. But yeah, make sure you have a good CV and update your LinkedIn or create a LinkedIn profile. A lot of recruiters in Ireland use that to search for talent too. So it is an opportunity that you could find a job even in the first month of your master's for the following year. So that's my email address, and you can see the NCI social media handles, but you can also obviously contact Education State or İÇİMİZDEKİ Irlanda. And that's kind of a brief intro into NCI. So happy to answer any questions if anybody.
Thank you very much for your presentation. That was really clear. So I'm going to ask if there's a question. Sorularınız var mı arkadaşlar? Chat'ten de sorabilirsiniz, Türkçe'de sorabilirsiniz, İngilizce'de direkt sorabilirsiniz. So I can ask about the scholarships measurements.
Sure.
What are the measurements for scholarships? For example, in undergraduate degree.
Undergraduate degree, well, academic ones are done on merit, and for the moment, for year one, the €2,000 is guaranteed, and then for year 2 and 3, once you're maintaining a good pass level in your exams, you should maintain your scholarship throughout. The entrepreneurship one is this year unusually offered to everybody, because just on Jimmy, he wanted to. I'd say in previous years we probably had about 25 people maximum in the Masters in Entrepreneurship, and he said to try and reach out to other regions and try and see can he get a slightly larger, more diverse class on the entrepreneurship side. So he's currently offered it out to everybody who meets the minimum entry requirements. So he said okay.
So is there
yeah.
any specific requirement for entrepreneurship scholarship?
No, once you meet the minimum GPA of 2.6 in any sort of honors degree or equivalent, so the GPA minimum is 2.6 from Turkey. A lot of our programs, so on the Masters in International Business, Human Resource Management, MSc in Management and Entrepreneurship, we do accept students from any, what we would say, honors degree, meeting the minimum GPA onto that. So you'll have a mix of students with various different degrees into that master's. If you're doing a master's in finance, you need to have high grades, accounting, finance, or economics degree, or related degrees. And that's kind of pitched at students who are maybe looking at CFA level. It's very investment management, kind of heavy, portfolio management, economics, accounting. So some students might go off into accounting roles. Some might look at the sort of front office or analyst roles after that MSc in finance. Or they might go into consulting with PwC or Accenture or something like that. The MSc in marketing, I've had a few students from Turkey on MSc in marketing last year. You need to have a marketing or communications degree onto that. And for any of the computing degrees, or sorry, masters, there's a requirement to have computer science or computer application or something computing related, or they'll look at you from I know they look at you from a STEM background, so science, technology, engineering, or maths. So you could get like onto, say, even masters in cybersecurity from an engineering degree if you have done programming. Like you need to know programming to be going on to cloud computing, data analytics, or cybersecurity. You need to have done, I don't know, Python or C, C++, Java. You need to have that knowledge. Even if you have an engineering degree, you might have touched on it. There are other certificates that you can do online and learning that some students might have done separate to academia. But once they prove that they have it, that knowledge, then sometimes they get onto that program as well.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. And there's another question about installments, about paying fees.
So
how about that?
If a student is already in Ireland, if you're coming in to do English and then do studies, we only have an installment plan if you're in Ireland already for a period of 6 months to a year. And if you are, you can have an installment plan. If you're coming straight from Turkey, we don't have an installment plan in place. We need to have the net fee. So if you're offered any scholarship, whatever, you take that off. The net fee must be paid in full before you apply for your visa.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to translate it. Taksit seçeneği olarak arkadaşlar sadece İrlanda'dayken 6 ayda bir şekilde, yani dönemlik 2 taksit şeklinde ödeme yapabiliyorsunuz. Ama Türkiye'den maalesef hepsini ödemenizi bekliyorlar. And another question, that it is available for Duolingo scores.
Yes, we do accept Duolingo for admission. We set a range of English language tests, so IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, Duolingo is accepted, and Duolingo is also accepted by the visa office as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Duolingo'da şu an kabul ediliyor. And there's another question that I am also wondering. For example, we have less than 2.6 GPA because in Turkey, some schools are really hard to make high GPAs. So is there any chance, or is this a strict rule that to have 2.6 GPA?
Yeah, it's strict.
Okay, there's no any other chance.
No, the only...
Maybe awards that I win.
The only workaround on that is if a student has had several years experience in a particular area that they're actually applying for, they can't, there is what they call a RPEL, which is a recognition for prior experiential learning. So they're able to, submit, they have to write several pages on how their experience may have, worked in lieu of the degree. But usually they'd want to have 7+ years experience.
Okay, so even if there is a really high ranking, changing?
This has popped up during my trip, and it's something that I have to discuss with admissions.
Okay.
But at the moment, it's strict. And
I see.
I was waiting to get a list of these universities from somebody, and then I haven't been able to. They won't do it mid intake anyway. So I'll have to wait till after September to have a chat with admissions and see if it's a possibility. But for the moment, it's strict, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And then I'm going to translate it. 2.6 GPA, yani not ortalaması kesin. Ama o alanda deneyiminiz varsa uzun yıllar, bu denenebilirmiş. Ama hani tam olarak kendi yöneticileri de konuşacakmış. 2.6'nın altında da başvurular yapabilmek için. Ama normalde katı bir kural diyor. Başka soru var mı? Bakalım.
So I can translate another question. One of our students are thinking about applying to undergraduate. He or she already has associate degree, kind of like a higher diploma. So do you accept associate degree or higher diploma in undergraduate studies?
Yeah, well, they can apply for advanced entry and use might have to submit detailed module descriptors, so faculty can kind of map what they've done to the particular degree to award exemptions as such. So you might be able to use that they usually won't make you repeat what you've done. So if you're applying, if you've done like an associate degree in business, you're applying for a business degree, they'll usually be able to map what you've done, and you might get, you'll get some exemptions and maybe hop into, year 2 or year 3 instead. Does that answer your question?
Great, thank you. Şöyle, tabii ki de ön lisans mezunları da kabul ediliyor lisans başvurusu için. Ön lisansta tam olarak ne dersleri aldığınızı, hangi alanda ön lisansınızı tamamladığınıza dair bir belgeyi sunduktan, kanıtladıktan sonra şu imkan da bulunuyor. Hani aldığınız dersleri tekrar da almak zorunda kalmayabiliyorsunuz, ama bunun için hani başvuru yapıp daha sonrasında başvuruya göre hareket etmek gerekiyor. So a follow-up question for the associate degree or higher diploma graduates for undergraduate studies, are they still have to have the minimum 2.6 GPA?
Yeah, the higher diploma is a conversion program, so it's taking the minimum entry is still 2.6.
Great. Devam sorusunda da ön lisans mezunlarının puanının 2.60 olması da aynı şekilde 2.60 olması gerekiyor. O da biraz kesin bir ortalama.
So thank you. Are there any other questions? There's one more question. Are you accepting a conditional acceptance for the low level of English? For example, they get acceptance from you, but later they will take the IELTS score.
Oh yeah. I get you there.
Sorry.
Yeah, we do accept that. Yeah, so you can apply without English and receive a conditional offer letter. You can apply without other things as well. So they'll issue a conditional offer letter subject to if you're waiting on final results or if you're waiting on English. So yeah, you can do that. Yeah, if you're just waiting on English and you're applying for a conditional, you can receive a conditional offer letter. You can even pay if you want to confirm your seat in the class. At the moment for September, like MSc cybersecurity is very close to full. I'd say there's 4 or 5 places left on it. So it's that fills up quite fast. There's only one class in each intake for that, of about 50 in the class. Data analytics, probably, even though there's 2 classes, two classes in each intake, it's quite a popular program. That will probably fill up next at some stage in the next 4 weeks. So there's demand on certain programs. All the tech ones seem to fill up real fast. There's huge demand for all of them in the market. Yeah, so if you have a conditional offer letter and you're waiting to sit your English, you can even pay a deposit and confirm your seat. Usually you need to pay like 6 or 7,500 depending on the program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Şartlı kabul oluyormuş. Yalnız çok hızlı doluyormuş bazı bölümlerde yerler. Örneğin siber güvenlikte şu an 4-5 kişilik yer kalmış Eylül alımı için. Ama hani böyle bir şey istiyorsanız bir an önce skorunuzu sunmanız gerekli. Ya da işte depozito ödüyorsunuz. 600-700 euro arasında değişiyor ki yerinizi sabitleyin okulunuza kaydı. Bu da gitmeden önce ödenen bir miktar. So there is Yaren here saying that I'm going to read it. Hi, sorry, I couldn't turn on the audio and video. I'm on the bus. We met in Turkey and I said I want to do master in 1 year, but now I'm thinking of doing master now. I've been in Dublin for 6 months and my English course ends on June. My GPA is 3.6. So can I get more scholarship for entrepreneurship program?
Well, there's 50% scholarship available, so that's
all.
Not an offer.
Thank you. %50'den aşağısı olmuyormuş Yaren. Sanırım sorun da buydu.
3.6 is very high GPA. Wow.
Yeah. Yüksek gerçekten. Başka sorusu olan var mı? Spesifik sorular, bölümünüzle alakalı, düşündüğünüz bölümle alakalı.
Is everybody that's on here, most people in Turkey?
I think yes. Herkes Türkiye'de sanırım.
How many different regions? Is everybody in Istanbul or Ankara, Izmir? Anyone?
I think it's mixed, but let me ask. Arkadaşlar nereden katılıyorsunuz merak ediyor Michael. İstanbul, Ankara, İzmir.
They are writing from the chat. You can see as
see.
well.
Adana,
Yeah.
Adana,
Different
here.
regions.
Adana kebab, very good. Adana kebab and tantunis, my favorite food. I don't know who invented the is it shagrum, the salty drink. Shagrum.
Shalgam. Yes.
Irish people don't like that. Too salty. I don't know who invented that, but yeah. The yogurty drink, that's okay. Shagrum, no.
Maybe.
Cool. Good mix.
Yeah, there are different regions.
Balakasir. Where's Balak? Pardon if I'm, butchering the names.
No, actually, that's right. Balıkesir.
Where's that?
From Marmara. In Marmara region. It's near Izmir. Let me say.
Near Izmir.
Yeah.
Very good. Izmir was nice. Relaxed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a question for master's degree, I think. Is there any minimum number for reference? I think reference letter he's asking.
No.
Yeah.
We don't require the reference letter from the institution, so it's not part of our process.
Okay. Referans mektubu gerek yokmuş. Zaten hani çoğu okulda çok gerek olmuyor ama bazen 1 veya 2 isteniyor. Bilginiz olsun.
We just need the academic transcripts and the final award degree certificate that you would have got at graduation. And usually they want to see a CV, CV and your high school results as well.
Yes. CV ve cover letter, yani niyet mektubu yeterli oluyor. So there is any other specific question. Is there any major about architecture or map engineering?
You can do it in Ireland. We just don't have it.
Geomatic engineering, sorry.
But there is opportunities for architecture in Ireland. Yes, I'd say TUD. If you have I know there's a website you can look up all of the options in Ireland. So, but I'd say have a chat with İçİMİZDEKİ Irlanda afterwards, and they'll give you the options.
Yes. So thank you very much for today. That was very nice to meet you and all of you guys. Arkadaşlar webinarlar devam edecek bu hafta içinde de. Kayıt olduysanız bir kere kayıt olmuş olmanız yeterli. Diğer webinarlara da girebilirsiniz. Zaten onların duyurusu maille veya Instagram'da yapılacak. Başka eklemek isteyen varsa ekleyebilir. Ama bugünlük bu kadar. Teşekkür ederiz katıldığınız için. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much for listening to me. If anyone has any questions, they can always follow up.
Yeah. Thank you. So,
thanks very much.
Good evening.